Hi everyone. How are you doing? Happy Friday. If you guys did anything fun for the Lionsgate, I almost said Leo. Oh my god, talking about Leo season. Lionsgate, if you did anything fun for that, let me know, or if you did a reading. Um Welcome to the queue, everyone. Marshall, since you have to leave, I'm going to just do your question last, and hopefully one of my lovely mods reminds me. Um, I don't, yeah, just gonna go in order. Nope, you spelled it right, LH. Good job. There's only one of two right ways to spell it. Every other way is wrong, in my opinion. Goodness, the chat was being janky. Okay. So I am pulling out an oldie but goodie. I'm really excited. This is the Spirit de la Lune Oracle. This is like, I think the second Oracle I ever bought. And I love it. It's my favorite moon Oracle. And I want to see how it pairs with this. I feel like the backs will go well, but I don't know about the faces. But let's do our community read. Let's see what kind of energy we have. And let's see what our first card is. I feel like I should have done this last week with the whole, like, new moon and stuff, but I forgot. Forgot how hard these round glossy cards are to shuffle. All right, here we go. First card. All righty. We have the Peacemaker. This is Libra. So this is our moon in Libra here, focusing on Peacemaker. I feel like this must mean we're in a time where we need to deliberately focus on making your peace and finding peace. So if things have been really, really hectic, maybe it's a good thing to focus on right now. We have the full moon here, which is about fulfillment. So I feel like in order to find that fulfillment, you need to tap into finding your peace in order to do that. Otherwise, there must likely be too much distraction or just too much too much buzzing, changing energy around you if you don't find moments of stillness to relax and focus. So with that goal of fulfillment in there. Let's see what our last card is. Here we go. And then we have the Waxing Crescent. This card is play. I feel like this is reminding us, as you are finding your peace, enjoy it, right? So this isn't like telling you to hunker down and do all this hard work. This is more so like finding fulfillment in these moments of joy and peace that you can provide yourself or bring into your life, into your normal day-to-day, in areas where you feel like you might not have it right now. So again, you have Peacemaker, fulfillment, and play. So if you would like some cards from this deck, you can use one of the tip options. No, I don't think it's watercolored. I don't know what that art is, but I don't think it's watercolor. Alrighty. Fatima, go ahead, put your question in the chat. I have Marshall. I know, Marshall, you said you had to leave, so I'll save yours to last. And we have 4, Midnight, LH, and Steph. So let me get this deck all shuffled and warmed up. This, again, is the Dreamscapes Oracle. I've used this a few times over the last month. It's my newest deck. Yeah, it's my newest tarot deck. Okay, thank you for your question. Ooh, much better shuffle. There we go. All right, let's see. Let's see, Fatima, who is coming towards you? It's so funny because I was talking in my Discord about how the magician is like following the community around. Okay, last card. All right, so we have the magician, we have the page of wands, and then we have the dreamer. I'm gonna actually pull out the book for that because the dreamer is an extra it's an extra card in this deck. Hi, Ruby. Yes, happy rainy day. Oh my god, I was saying earlier in chat how I was getting tornado warnings this morning. So woke up to a little bit of a scary situation, but it's fine. It ended up being fine, I should say. Okay, so I'm going to read the dreamer just because I have the book with me. The dreamer card embodies visionary aspiration and creative inspiration, urging individuals to trust their inner visions while maintaining a balance with practical realities. I like this paired with the magician. So I feel like here you this might be someone who is much younger for the amount of like skills they have. So I feel like they're going to be someone who is in a really good position in life, even though they might be a little bit younger than you would think for someone who is so put together. So with the magician is the person who's really like mastering their craft. They're kind of like a jack of all trades, really good at what they do. And it's okay, Marshall. I don't mind doing it at the end, and I'll check if you're still here. I'll just do it. It's not a problem. I'm gonna go with the flow for the most part. So I think that you're going to have someone who you're going to come across who's going to, just first glance, just be someone who is a little younger, probably very energetic. But once you start to get to know them, you'll realize that they're really craftful. They're really maybe like an entrepreneur kind of type, or someone who is more, entrepreneur kind of fits this kind of theme, right? Because they have a lot of skills that they can apply towards a lot of different things. And then with the dreamer, this is your visionary. This is the person that can imagine different things, and perhaps with the skills they have as the magician, make them a reality. So, someone who it gives like entrepreneurial vibes, or like someone who is in what's that, startups, like a startup company that is more so at the forefront of the forefront of technology, or the forefront of whatever field they're in, right? My brain automatically goes to technology because that's what I'm familiar with. But I think that overall, this person there doesn't seem to be anything like malicious in here. They might be, even though they might have like a lot of good skill sets and stuff, character wise, might be a little immature. But with everything else, I feel like there's maybe a little balance. So maybe a little immature, but like at the same time, the fun side of it, not so like lacking in responsibilities. They just might have what people might call immature hobbies or something like that. But let's see. Let me see if there's anything else I see in here. No, I think that really summarizes that really well. Yeah, I don't know why the bot is being a jerk about. I don't know what Zalgo text is, so I'll have to turn that off. Yeah, luckily our rain stopped. Yeah, I don't know what Zalgo text is either. Luckily our rain stopped a little after midday, so like about 2-ish. But yeah, Fatima, I think you have someone really cool coming towards you. You know, just kind of look for the signs of what I was pointing out here. Getting a little younger, maybe someone in a more creative, entrepreneurial field. Yeah, that's probably some setting. Streamlabs recently updated some stuff, so I think it's one of the new settings, and I just left it because I was like, okay. Marshall, did you leave already? So while I do that, I'm gonna like kind of see what these look like together. I don't hate that. I kind of like this pairing. Okay. It was kind of like a off the fly thought. You're welcome, Fatima. Yeah, Ari, YouTube is like that. Okay, so I'll save Marshall's reading for the end and they can watch the replay. It'll be easy to find that way. 4, go ahead. You're up next, followed by 4. I have Midnight, then LH, Steph, and Ari. The round deck is the Spirit de la Lune. It's an indie deck. I've had this for a long time. I think it's still in production though. I haven't checked in a while. This is you can go to, what's the website? spiritdelalune.com. Yeah. All right, let's see. What's a spirit want me to know? Let's see. One more. A lot of wands so far, just across everybody's readings. The 2 that I've done. Sorry guys, messing with my lights here. Oh. There we go. All right. So you have strength, you have the 10 of wands, and then you have the 9 of wands. Okay. So I'll kind of start in the middle and then work my way out. With the 10 of wands being at the middle of your reading, I think Spirit is telling you like you're on the cusp of really closing out an exhausting chapter right now. You just have to power through it. So the 10 of wands, 10s are about ending cycles, closing a cycle, closing a chapter, stuff like that. So you have something that's ending and then or wrapping up right now. But the problem is with it, while you are accomplishing things, 10s are still about accomplishments. It's like exhausting. It's like once this happens, you'll be able to lift a burden off of your shoulders kind of thing. So with the strength card here, it's saying, you know, you have the strength to get through it. You just have to tap into that strength. A lot of this is about inner strength, whereas wands is about, so strength is like inner strength, and wands here is like how you use that inner strength to portray to the external world. So while this is talking more about stuff externally, this here is saying like, hey, you have what it takes to get through it. Just tap into the your own inner power that you know you have in order to get through that. And then this card reflects a lot of that. So this is more like your internal power, and this is applying that to your actual external actions. So the Nine of Wands is also about resiliency. It's like that final leg pushing through. It's like if you've ever like run a race or like even reading a book and it's like hard to get through and you just see like you have one more chapter left and you're like, I'm gonna power through. That's what the Nine of Wands is like. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like Spirit's saying, you know, this is not the time to give up or slow down. Just power on through, keep going, because like right across the horizon is the end goal, whatever that end goal is for you. But I would say you have all of this with strength, even you have all fire energy. So I feel like this is something that has probably been burning in you for a while. And hold on, sorry, notifications are popping up. And I think that with the whole fire energy, there's a lot of movement around you right now. So if this has been going on for a while, just be a little patient because it's starting to wrap up. Whatever it is you need to do in order to wrap up, that's what these cards are saying here. You know, tap into that, just forge on through and get there. But it feels very much like, you know, the energies around you are like rooting for you to finish up and to get achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve and meet your accomplishments. So that's good. Yes. Thank you for the reminder. Make sure you like this video. It helps with the algorithm. And I appreciate it. Alrighty, Midnight, you are up next. I have to figure out what deck I want to use next week. I'm going on a trip, so I need to figure out what deck I want to take with me. I might just go with my basic bitch pocket Centennial deck. My classic Rider-Waite Smith. All right. Let's pull an oracle card for you. Let's see what your energy for next week is going to be. Thank you, Ruby. I know pocket decks I like that more creators are coming out with pocket editions. Okay, let's see here. Ooh, we have Aries. This is the Inspirer. So I feel like next week is all gonna be about inspiration, but let's see, as your theme, let's see what Tarot has to say. I have to figure out my lights, my camera setting for you guys. Okay. Let's see, next card. And last card. All major arcana. Interesting. So you have the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Devil card. I love this Devil card, by the way. Look at him. Awesome. So you have the Devil card, and then you have the Fool here. So quite interesting. So your theme I pulled was the Inspirer. Yes, no Four of Swords in this chat or in this reading. And yeah, I wonder if there are any Aries around. So I think that there are a few things that are going on, I feel like. So for next week, I would say Just as a general warning, don't, it, whatever you feel like is inspiring you, don't let your fears of whatever attachments, your attachment to your fears, um slow you down. Thank you for the support on Kofi. Oh, it's so cool. I like that people are using my Kofi more. But yeah, so for next week, be careful about being attached to these fears, about accepting the inspirations that are coming into your life, because I feel like next week is about finally being the right time to take that leap of faith. So generally when this stuff like this pops up, I think that means that you've been sort of hoping for something, or you've been working towards something. It's hard to tell when it's like, for me, when it's all major arcana, because there aren't like actionable things sometimes. But I think that this is a good week, right? We have the Wheel of Fortune. And I feel like this is a really like high moment. This feels like the higher part of the cycle of the wheel, where this is saying, okay, this is time to let go of whatever's holding you back, let go of any preconceived notions about things that you have been wanting to do, and just go ahead and do them. So something, I feel like next week is probably going to trigger that. I don't know if it's just going to be like, the stars are aligned and you just have the energy to be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just finally suck it up and do this thing. Or if someone invites you to something, I don't know what that trigger is going to be, but I feel like there's going to be something next week that just kind of lights a bit of a spark under you to move forward. Like, this feels more reversed, right? Where it's like finding the freedom to move forward and accept the good things that are coming in your path. Because I feel like sometimes when we find inspiration and stuff like that, you just feel like, oh, it's the wrong time to do it and blah, blah, blah. I think this is saying like, next week is not the wrong time to do it. Just go for it. Have fun. Start that new journey, whatever that may be. But the Fool here is totally indicating like you might be, yeah, and maybe that's a good way to put it. I like it, because it goes back to the whole Devil card, where you finally let yourself break free and find that freedom to move forward and start new things, and accept that, with the wheel, accept that there might be ups and downs with that, but it's ultimately a good thing to get the thing moving. So the other thing too with the wheel is it's indicative of cycles. So maybe this is indicative of one cycle ending, and it's a good opportunity to step into a new phase of life, probably with all major arcana. So this is probably something that's really, really impactful and really important for you. And usually I feel like when I'm talking about these, even with these like short 3-card readings, something is popping in your head and makes sense one way or another. That reminds me of that song, I'm like a bird. I don't know if you guys like, I'm really old. That's funny. Let's see. I'm gonna check my Kofi real quick. Auntie Isla, Isla. Hopefully I said your name right. For tipping, you are more than welcome to skip the queue and put your question in the chat. Yeah, Nelly Furtado. Thank you. I was like, I couldn't think of the name. Hey, Chelsea. You're welcome, Midnight. Okay. Um Oh, okay. I was like, I was wondering what your name might be on YouTube. Hi, Isla. Thank you for the tip. Go ahead, put your question in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Luke, does it really? It makes you like what, all teary-eyed or something? Hi, Lighthouse. I feel like there are a lot of new names to me today. Okay, so while we wait for Isla, or Chelsea, I'll say Chelsea since that's your name here. Let me read off who I have in the queue. I have LH, I have Steph, and then I have Ari. And then I'm going to finish up with Marshall. So anybody who joins, I'm just going to finish up with Marshall so they can have their reading at the end. Aw, I love that. Especially because I felt like you were probably too young to even know that song. All right. Steph, if you could keep me honest, I'll do Marshall's at the end. Just remind me. Thank you for the likes. It helps with the algorithm. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's fine. I told him I'd get it at the end. All right. So LH, you got your question. I'll go ahead and do LH, and then Chelsea, go ahead and put your question in, and I'll get you whenever I see your question. All righty. So, yeah, I'm reading your question now. Sorry, catching up on the chat and everything. I'll do this. I'll do this one. I'll do this one in the sense like, like what's been going on? What's been said about you in regards to this situation? So let's see. Midnight Stalker popped up. Oh, we have our first repeat of the night, which is the Dreamer. Why do you think they were talking about you? Just out of curiosity. You have the Four of Swords, Eight of Cups, and then the Dreamer, which is a specialty card in this deck. The Dreamer card is the card of like visionary and like inspiration and dreams and all of that kind of mentality. So there's nothing here that makes it seem like they were actually talking about you. I think they might just have been talking. I think like, oh gosh, high school BS. Yeah, like I feel like maybe they were because the four of swords is really what is giving me pause, because the four of swords is really about like keeping to oneself, and like it's really a period of just sort of pulling away from things mentally. And generally in that state, people can still be talking about you, but usually when you're giving off that kind of energy, so whatever that energy this guy is giving off, I feel like maybe it was just saying like, it's time to move on from this, and like let the petty stuff go and focus on themselves. Because with the Eight of Cups being in the center of the reading, the Eight of Cups is about walking away from things, emotionally distancing themselves. So maybe that's what the conversation was about. Nothing here reads as like malicious. So if there was some past drama between you guys, I think it's just more so now. It's more so now like, I'm over it. I'm ready to move on from this. It's just like really wanting to put a lot of stuff behind you. You can see here, this guy's kind of like walking away from all of these things. Like, think of these cups in this instance as each moment of whatever pettiness or drama that happened, and just trying to forge ahead, and just really hoping for something new with this like dreams card. So I feel like it's just saying like the energy of that it takes to deal with whatever happened between you guys, or whatever silliness that was happening, isn't worth it, and isn't meshing with whatever they have their like eyes set on for the future. And it's time to just put it to rest and walk away. Is literally what it feels like this is saying, like as a sentence. Put all of this stuff to rest and ease your mind, walk away from the pettiness, and focus on the things that are really important. So if they were talking about you, it was probably in this regard, in the sense like, I need to move on from this, because it's not important. Yeah. And yeah, it can definitely be annoying when people are like talking about you and stuff like that. I totally get it. But yeah, I would say though, I don't think it was like malicious, but I do know like in general, even when people are just, if you have like bad blood and you were like talking to someone like, I'm ready to move on, and that person walks in, it's awkward as hell. Just from past experience of having to deal with other people's drama and be in the middle of stuff, you kind of like see it happening in real time, where I'm like, okay, they weren't saying anything bad, but they got really quiet and made it really awkward. Yeah. You're welcome, LH. Hopefully that eases your mind. Tell them to go duck themselves. Alrighty, Chelsea, you are my tipper, so I'm gonna get you next. I know you're just vibing, but good job, LH. Some people just need to be told to screw off, go suck a bag of something, and then they leave you alone. But yeah, it sounds like whatever you did to get away from the drama, LH, I think it's working. I think everybody's just like, yeah, over it. I know, for real. Like, some people are worth the time, and I'll tell them about themselves, and then other times I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, I can't believe we're doing this as adults. But yeah, I'm glad I did that reading so I can put your mind at rest. I don't generally, I've been pulling away from third party readings, but every once in a while it feels like right to do. So, catch me on a good day. You never know. Good night. Thanks for joining. Chelsea, are you there? Go ahead, put your question in the chat. And if not, I can always. Oh, yay. Ooh, how's this month gonna go? Let's see. Let's pull some oracle cards. I'll pull a card for like the overall theme. Let's see. Something easy. It's a good question to ask. Ooh, okay. So this is last quarter. This is release. I feel like I got this theme a lot last week about August being like a really like transitional month for people. So I'm curious if that's how it's going to be for you. So let's see. Ooh. Let's do like, I don't know. I'm going to pull cards and see how I feel. Maybe talk to it and then pull some more for you. Okay. No repeats, but we have a lot of cups here. Okay, we have the Ace of Swords, Six of Cups, and Nine of Cups. I cannot read. So for a lot of people last week, it felt like a very transitional month. For you, it feels like August is really going to be the start of like something new. And it feels very much like roads are opening up for you. There's going to be a lot more movement than maybe things have been more recently with the swords card here. The sword. So aces in general are the cards of new beginnings, starting fresh, starting something new. And swords, while they are more of an internal energy, the Ace of Swords really projects this element of like success. So I feel like there's going to be a few successful things that happen for August. We have the Six of Cups and then the Nine of Cups. So I wonder if this is about reconnecting with in fact, let me pull some cards in reference to these two cups here. I just want to see what their energies are together. Oops. There we go. Ooh, we have the Three of Wands. Okay, interesting, because wands and cups don't like to go together. So we have the Six of Cups and the Nine of Cups. This feels very much like reconnecting with either like your inner child or someone that brings that energy out in you. That's really what the Six of Cups feels like, where you feel like you are tapped back into things that make you feel very nostalgic and things that are really happy from your past. And because of that, I feel like it's going to the Nine of Cups is, I really like the Nine of Cups. It's like the wishes granted kind of card. So I feel like, if you have been struggling to sort of open up the energy to things moving for you, August feels very much like that right now. And then you have here the oh, that's so sweet. You had a childhood friend come back into your life. Oh, I love that. I think that connection will really help you. It doesn't have to be surrounded or revolved around that connection, but I think that's just going to open you up emotionally to other joyful things that will happen throughout the month. And I think one of the other things about August is I think it is going to be a little bit of a transitional month because we have the Three of Wands here. This is where you start to focus on that expansion and growth. So you're going to start to feel a lot of that happening, I think, more on the emotional fulfillment side of things this month. So while the swords, while it suggests like a little bit of a like mental journey, I think this is really saying like this is where roads are opening up for you. And then the 3 of Wands is saying, August is where you can grow, and um you have a lot of with this fiery energy, you have a lot of movement that happens around that. And because I use that to kind of get the energy between these cards, I think there's a lot of movement about around your emotional journey this month and things that make you happy and joyful. And overall, I think that it's about, like, I think I mentioned it a second ago, it's about finding that emotional fulfillment and what that journey looks like for you. But that's so cool that you reconnected with someone. And then, of course, I want to go back to the original theme of release. I think being able to do that, finally open up and feel like you can grow, and seeing perhaps a little bit of growth will really help release any of that like stagnant energy that you might have been feeling previous to now. I get that. Hence why you got a lot of these cups here. But yeah, you're welcome. That August seems like a really cool month for you. You already have cool things happening, which is super exciting. Ari, I can never figure out. Oh, it worked. Huh. Well, look at that. Streamlabs is surprising me every day. I kind of get it. I'm not an emotional person, but I am a Taurus, Pisces. So I still kind of sometimes end up in that similar position. I just hate it. Like emotions, gross. So up next is Steph. Ari, you were actually 2. I'm going to remove Marshall because I already remember. Oh, it's so cool that worked. Alrighty, let's see. Let's see what message or advice you need to hear from your spiritual team. Oh, okay. This is your oh my god, I can't read. Waning crescent. This is support. So I feel like the obvious like theme is that your team is supporting you and everything that you're doing and watching over you, and just kind of the general common sense shtick there. Let's see what the tarot has to say. What actual message do you have or advice? Right. Ooh, more cups of energy. We're getting a lot of cups and wands between everyone. Knight of Cups, the Hermit, and the Queen of Cups. I'll start in the middle of the reading and then like work my way out. So with the Hermit, I think the main advice is really to just it's just, this is a time for introspection. I really like what's happening here. Like if we just take the Hermit here as almost like the theme of what your team is saying, and then we have the Queen and the Knight looking at the Hermit, this is almost like saying, this is a period of introspection. And as you go into these different energies, make sure you're always going back into that period where you can reflect on how that energy is affecting you and whether it's right or where you need to adjust. So I really, really, I like how that plays together. We have the Knight of Cups. The Knights imbue more of that fire energy, but then you have the balance on the other side with that water energy from the cups. So there's a balance here with this Knight in terms of emotionally pushing towards the things that they want. In the negative, this Knight can be a little too emotionally driven. So instead of thoughtfully driving towards their emotions, they let their emotions drive them to whatever. So there's really no direction. So I would say, when your team is saying, focus on how you're imbuing this Knight of Cups in a good way and in a bad way, reflect on that and reflect like, what can you do to mitigate the more negative side of this Knight of Cups, and like what moments you feel like you're falling into that moment, that um emotionally driven state versus the other way around, where you are you're tapped well into your emotions, but they aren't driving you. You're driving them, if that makes sense. On the other side, we have the Queen of Cups, who imbues both water energy. Queens are water, cups are water. She is very nurturing. So in the positive, this queen is really in tune with herself emotionally. She's also very just intuitive in terms of what it is that she needs and what it is she might need to give to others and when to do so. But in the negative, can be a little emotionally overbearing. It similar to the way that the Knights are. So the Knight is more so letting their emotions drive them. In this case, the Queen is more so letting the emotions take over them, in that they become so in a part of themselves, right? They're taking on too much. This can be like a sign of like in the negative, maybe dealing too much with an energy vampire that just pushes you into that state, for example. But again, she's looking at this hermit. So how can you reflect on this queen? Where are the good sides of the queen that you feel like you represent, and your team is saying like, where are you in the negative, and how can you mitigate those sort of more negative interactions with the Queen of Cups? Excuse me, hold on. So I think though, overall, when we deal with like introspection, it can be a little difficult. And I think that's why your theme with the Oracle here was that that your team is going to support you through all of it. So don't feel like when you do this that you're alone. So you can always, however it is you communicate or touch base or connect with your spiritual team throughout this process, just check in with them and connect with them, and let that energy help you drive you to the right path, I'll say. Oh, were you really just reading about energy vampires? How serendipitous. Yeah, but nice message. You mentioned earlier, I love how the cards are playing together. It's one of my like really favorite decks that I've gotten recently. Yeah, Steph. Basically, don't go full Drake. Never go full Drake. All right, Ari, you are up next, and then I have Lighthouse, Luke, and then I'll finish up with Marshall. You're welcome. I don't know why you think they wouldn't be nice to you. They're literally your team. They're here to like literally support you, just like that card said. right. Sorry, guys. I'm still here. 8 kids? Okay. Let's see. To join the queue, you can use exclamation point join. I thought it was somewhere. But yeah, use exclamation point join. Alrighty, let's see. Let's see, Ari, if you'll have a big family or not. Oh, we have another repeat with the Fool here. I won't say it's outside of the realm of possibilities. It's just I think that I don't think there's a clear yes or no on this one. So you have the Hanged Man, the Fool, and the Page of Cups. This feels ambiguous, and I'll try to explain. So I'll start in the middle. The Fool card, as I mentioned before, this is like taking a leap of faith, but also like starting something new. And sometimes that's because of like missteps that have happened. So, you know, if you're trying to get to that goal, maybe it's something that takes a few tries to get to, or and what I mean is like maybe it evolves to over time, because I recall you saying you're fairly young. So over time you might realize like, okay, maybe it's time for a new perspective here with this hangman. Here's oh no, your internet's down. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. Oh, dang. Well, be safe, Ruby, please, because the weather is crazy out here. With the hangman is about making sacrifices. Usually when it comes up in readings like this about like people having specific expectations of the future and, you know, blase blase, the Hanged Man and to me the Fool paired together is indicative, like maybe this isn't going to be playing out exactly how you want, and the Hangman is saying you need to find ways to be okay with that, because we can't pre-plan our entire lives. As much as we want, we can try to get close, but like, you know, and this part of this I think is in terms of the ambiguity of like large versus small versus medium, right? So to you large means 8, to me that's like humongous, to me large means like 4. So I think there's like a ambiguity of language a little bit here. So I think that this might be saying in the future, your perspective of what you consider large might change. And you might have to give up whatever, you know, today Ari is wanting, because future Ari has decided X, Y, and Z. The Page of Cups really indicates this is where like some of this feels a little like a no, some feels like maybe. The Page of Cups feels like if that's what you want to do, you have to kind of grow into it. The Page of Cups is a little naive in the sense like they are the ones that are more studious. They're still kind of learning about stuff. And in this case, this page is still learning about their emotions and the things that make them happy and what ultimately does emotional fulfillment look like. So it it just depends. Unfortunately, I don't feel like there's a yes or no. I feel like this is like the journey hasn't been decided yet. And I will admit, I don't do like predictive readings very often where I'm looking like very far into the future. Like I'll do near future, I'll do, like month ahead, stuff like that. But um talking about what years in the future looks like becomes a little too nebulous for me. I personally struggle with that, just for full transparency of me as a reader. But I think so many things change over the years that it would be disingenuous to read this as a solid yes or no. I feel like there's just some nuances in here. Exactly. Yeah. So there's so that's a good point, Ari, right? Like, so if you want to take breaks in between, like, you never know what life happens in between those breaks, right? Like, what if we have COVID 2.0 and people lose their jobs again, or the opposite happens and the economy gets really, really stable and you're like, oh, this is a good time to have more kids. So you never really, really know until that time comes. So I would say that this is more of an advice to adapt and change, and accept any missteps that might happen because of how life is lifing at that time, and accept that sometimes you have to make sacrifices, or just understand that as we get older, our perspectives changed, right? I'm sure like you 10 years ago versus you now is not going to be the same as you 10 years from now. So just understand that over time, perspectives are going to change. And what you consider emotionally fulfilling today might be a little bit different than you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. So I think if I were to sum this up, like the too long didn't read, don't put pressure on yourself to make that decision today. Just kind of go with the flow, and if that's what you want, you can take steps to get there. But again, yeah. Exactly, Ruby. You never know, like health wise, there's so many factors. It's so hard to say. And when it comes to things like kids and stuff like that, I don't like to give like false hope. I err on the side of practicality for the most part. So because that was such a nebulous reading, I feel like it's much more of a maybe. Okay. Lighthouse, you are up next. Ari, this is such a mood. I feel this like so much sometimes. I totally get you. You're welcome. Alrighty, got your question. Let's see what's coming up. Too stiff a plan makes a good laugh. I like that. I wish I could tell my job that sometimes. And the Fool makes another reappearance for our most repeated card of the night, it seems like. Oh, and the Hermit. Feels like a few things here. So you have the Eight of Wands, the Fool, and then the Hermit card. So this feels like maybe I won't say that someone is necessarily, I won't say like a specific person or relationship is coming, but what I feel like I see is very much a whirlwind of things happening. So this feels more like this, right? This also feels more like this. that could be either way, but just for visual purposes. So it feels very much like I don't think things are coming right now. And I wonder if it's because of like how you're putting yourself out there isn't necessarily the way that is working best for you. And what I mean, so the Fool can be a really good indicator of like a new journey happening, but in reverse. And this is why it feels reverse with some other things going on along with the Hermit, is that it feels more like it's kind of like misstep after misstep, and it ends up being like either like nothing's moving, or it ends up being like a whirlwind of things that happen and it doesn't really go anywhere. But so we have the Hermit here. We have the Hermit at the end of your reading. Hold on one second, by the way. I'm closing the queue, but everybody who's in it is in it. So don't freak out. So the Hermit is really telling me like maybe you need to reflect on how what kinds of people you want to attract and how to attract them, because whatever you've been doing or whatever you kind of are doing in the near future isn't necessarily working out in your favor. It just kind of ends up being the same cycle of starting and stopping and starting and stopping with like probably different people, maybe a little bit of the same people. But regardless, there's no forward motion, right? So if we look at these guys in reverse, everything's pointing backwards, and the only one pointing forward is the Hermit. And this is indicative to me that you need to take a beat just a bit and sit and really determine what it is that you want your romantic life to look like and the actionable steps you think you need to do to get there. Because and what you've been doing that hasn't been working for you now and how to change it. And then what I would say is once you figure this part out, then I would come back and ask this question again, actually, because I feel like this is more like a roadblock. This feels very much like the toll gate is down and it's not going up for you right now, unfortunately. A lot of people in the chat enjoy being the Hermit, it seems like. So yeah, embrace that Hermit life a little bit. It feels like a setback, but I think in the long run it's probably more beneficial than being on this like endless cycle of whirlwind and starting something only for it to fizzle out and really just not going where you want it to go. Alrighty, Luke, you're up next. Yeah, Ruby, that's a good point too. Like if you're looking, in the near versus far future versus like if what you're asking about requires another person to be involved, it makes it so much more wibbly wobbly. Come on, Luke, and get your reading about how you should be doing more shadow work. All right, let's see. Let's pull an oracle card. Alrighty, you got the waxing gibbous, and this is focus. All right, we'll see what this means. Let's see, where are you in your grounding process? All right. So you have the Two of Wands, King of Wands and the 10, yeah, 10 of Cups. A lot of wands and cups today. I didn't pull a single pentacle card and only pulled two swords cards this entire night. It's crazy. So, and a lot of majors. So I will say, Luke, that you're on an okay path. You're not doing anything wrong. I think that maybe a little bit more needs to go into the planning of how you want to, like, what steps you want to take for your grounding and what you want the results to look like and all of that. The reason it feels like you're fine with the two of wands, it feels like there's just a little bit more planning that needs to go into this. I don't, for grounding though, like it's not that you need to plan like everything to a T. It's more so like, what do you really want to get out of it? How do you know that you're being successful? That kind of thing. So with the King of Wands in the middle and then the 10 of Cups, I feel like you're on a good path to this grounding process being very beneficial to you. So whatever you've been doing so far has been good, but I would say like maybe, like I said with that planning thing, just really hone it in, almost like tighten it up. Because the King of Wands is there, I would say there's not a lot of groundedness with the King of Wands, but you see a little bit of it in the 10 of Cups. There's this like just fulfillment and feeling like you have achieved what you really need to achieve with the 10 of Cups. The King of Wands, though, is really finding inspiration in different things and being confident in actually doing them. So I feel like this is saying that you really need to use a bit of that like kingly wisdom. I'll say, you know, what do you understand about grounding? What do you understand about how it affects you? And be a little bit of a visionary in that respect. The King of Wands is very much the visionary king, very wise, but also very passionate and creative. So be a little creative, put that into your planning and adapt it. So a little bit of a cycle here, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of how it should be, in my opinion. And then I think ultimately with this 10 of Cups, it's saying like, you know, you're still on a good path. Don't freak out. This isn't like saying you need to start from scratch or anything like that. This is just saying like, keep doing what you're doing, but, you know, adapt it a little bit more, be a little more creative. How can you adapt it better to your needs? So if you've been pulling things for grounding techniques from just in general, how can you make it more you? You have a copy of the Dreamscapes Tarot and you haven't opened it yet? That's so that's so funny. You gotta open it. It's so good. You're welcome. I feel like it's like keep up the good work, that kind of reading. Ugh, there we go. All right. Let me go and find Marshall's reading. Let's see what that was. Alrighty. I'll do this one for funsies at the end. Let's see what's the energy between Marshall and their partner, Alex. More cups. The Sun, Four of Cups, and the High Priestess. So, ultimately, I would say that the energy between Alex and Marshall are really, really good. This is the Five of Cups. I'm sorry, Five of Cups. So I think it's really good. This feels reversed now that I realize what card it is. And I think like in the core of this with the Five of Cups in reverse, it's about like refilling those tipped over cups. So whatever, like a like a fight or disagreement or whatever distance that it was caused in the past. I feel like this Five of Cups is saying you guys are like getting over that finally, and things are looking really, really good in terms of the Sun. Sun is like, I consider to be one of the happiest cards in the tarot. So just a very joyous, warm card. If you really think of the Sun provides life and growth for the entire planet. So things are growing and blooming and blossoming under the light of the Sun and the warmth of the Sun. And then we have the High Priestess. This generally indicates to me to trust your intuition about how things are going. The High Priestess is very confident in terms of that. So in terms of knowing when to tap into that side of themselves. This could also be indicative. Sorry, I'm listening for like rain because Ruby got me nervous. The High Priestess could also be indicative of being a little more spiritual between you guys. And I don't mean religious. I mean, whatever spiritual means to you, connecting more at a spiritual level, connecting, not necessarily emotionally and not necessarily intellectually. Like, what is it that I don't know what other term to use other than spiritual, but what is it that draws you guys together outside of the intellect, outside of the emotions, outside of the physical, and then kind of build upon that? So just a quick answer. Hopefully you come back and listen to it. Alrighty, guys. That was a wrap up. You'll have to let me know what you thought of the pairing of the Dreamscapes Oracle and the Spirit de la Lune. I actually really, really liked it. So yeah, you'll have to let me know. Oh no, I'm not west. I'm also east. I'm in the mid-Atlantic. And we got hit pretty hard today. Yeah, I figured. Oh yeah, guys, before you go, make sure you like this video. I do have some releases coming out, and if you haven't seen it and you like when I like talk through readings and explain things, I have a whole new series coming out about how it's basically talking through how I do different readings. So I have the 3 cards spread up, and then I have one on how and when I decide to pull more cards. So if you're interested in those topics, go ahead, check them out. Okay. Yeah, that works. But guys, if you want to continue talking like decks and tarot and anything else witchy and even like planners and books and stuff, join me on Discord. I'll be on tonight. I'm always on. I don't have a life. My ankle's still busted, so I'm not doing anything, and it's rainy. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you're already subscribed, and thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And yeah, let's go ahead and chat on the server. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.